Hello and welcome back to Ladies Let's Talk Business on Fonte Show with myself, Faustina Anyanwu. Today we'll be talking about first generation entrepreneurs and the challenges that they face. But before I go on to today's topic, I want to give a shout out to my designer V Accessories, one of the best emerging designer and accessory brands coming out of Nigeria. Thank you so much, V Accessories. You guys, please do give them a follow for their benevolence. Look at my dress. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Huge talents coming out of Nigeria. I'm so proud of my people. Okay. So, now, before I go into the challenges that first generation entrepreneurs face, I would like us to look at understanding who in the first place is a first generation entrepreneur. And for my own opinion, regardless of any other definition anyone else is giving out there or any description, for me, this is what I believe. I believe that a first generation entrepreneur is a person, an individual who has decided to chart their own course, and be their own boss. Now, this person usually is somebody who is the first in their family to run a business. When you come from a family where everybody, the tradition is finish your uni, get a job, get good job, whatever, be paid every month, your salary you believe is guaranteed. That is the family tradition from generation to generation. Then we have another set of first generation entrepreneurs who, despite the family businesses or businesses that are being done in their family traditionally, they decide to go completely away from what is norm in their family. For example, let's say your parents are into buying and selling of products or maybe fashion or whatever, but you decided to go into something more innovative, probably become a media entrepreneur, TV, you want to launch something, or app developer, those kind of things, or become a musician or designer or artist or something, and it's strange to your family tradition. Therefore, you are a first generation entrepreneur. Or if you find yourself in a foreign land away from your home, and in this land you are the only person from your own part of the village or place or whatever, community, who is doing a particular kind of business or doing business at all. You don't have any relative or friends who are doing business. You decided to become an entrepreneur and launch yourself into business. Then also you are a first generation entrepreneur. So yes, every entrepreneur faces a lot of challenges. Doing business comes with its own challenges, but when you are a first generation entrepreneur, there are certain challenges that are seriously peculiar with being a first generation entrepreneur. So, and those challenges are what we are going to be talking about today. So, first of all, you are going to be met with this belief. People, family, friends, people around you are not going to believe, in what you are talking about. It's strange to them. They're going to be like, they will think you're crazy. They will even think you're mad. They will do everything possible to discourage you, to stop you, to put fear in you. Their words, become almost annoying and irritating. If you're not strong in your own belief, in your own idea and vision, you most likely would not even get to the point of launching that idea at all. You see yourself bolting out. And they are not going to be there to support you, even when they might, out of family loyalty or something, and say they are supporting you, but then there are so many other ways that they're going to try to, cut you off and make you stop doing what you want to do. So that's the first challenge that a first generation entrepreneur faces. And this first problem or challenge becomes or spirals into so many other issues that you are definitely going to face deeply. And the next one is you have no one to look up to. Of course, if you're the first generation entrepreneur and no one believes in you, there's no one to motivate you, there's no one to inspire you. There's it's often said that when you see what you see, what you have seen, or what you can see, you can become. Now imagine when you haven't seen a successful entrepreneur in your life or around you or in your family or community. It becomes a difficult picture to behold. And if you cannot visualize it, it's difficult to achieve. Therefore, you have to really build yourself from within you to be able to create that kind of picture in your mind. And that is one of the very important things, one of the very advantages of social media, where these days you don't really need to, there are people you can look up to, and it's easy for you to access them, even if it's not on a personal level. And on this particular note, I tell people that, look, you must, as an entrepreneur, have a mentor. Even if it means having a virtual mentor. You don't have to have connection with your mentor. You don't have to know, or your mentor know you. Sometimes it can be something you do from a distance. If you're somebody who knows how to read, if somebody who is focused, who is observant, you'll be able to stay from nowhere and watch your role model do it as your mentor. So that's another challenge. No one to look up to, no, lack of role model for your distance. Therefore, you take your risk by yourself. Now, the next one is your lack of funding. Lack of funding. Of course, if nobody believes in what you're saying or what you're doing, it's strange to them. They can't see the viability of your crazy idea. Therefore, nobody's interested to even invest. Therefore, it all comes down to you. It boils down to what you can do. If you watched last week, my last week video, you can remember that I told you that the very first thing that I tell people all the time, my mentees, is always, if you want to jump into business, if you want to get into business, start up a business, start from your from the point of your strength. Start from the point of your skills, your talent, your passion. In that way, you are able to start without needing all the gadgets and all the money, all the funding. You have to start from a point where you are able to use your own skill, your own talent, your own passion to collaborate with other people in exchange for what you need to start. So I recommend that you go back and watch that video on Fonte Show here, Ladies Let's Talk Business. So, and the next one is your risk quotient. It becomes even tougher for you to yes, business already is a risk. But when you don't have backing, you don't have parents who have left anything for you. You don't have anyone who is in the line of the same business you're doing. You don't have anyone who can advise you on the depth of what you're about to begin or where you're headed. Remember, what you're doing is unfamiliar to almost everyone around you. Therefore, they cannot necessarily advise you. Any advice they give you is a guesswork. Therefore, you are at most propensity for risk, and it is a big deal for an entrepreneur to not be able to measure the length and breadth of risk you're taking. So it is a risk. It's like jumping off a cliff, you know. So, and because you are a first generation entrepreneur, your risk level, there are no cushion for you when you're falling. Therefore, your mind, your motivation, your inspiration, your belief becomes your own cushion. There's no one to, hold you up, catch you when you're about to fall. So these are the challenges, and it is also a lone walk and a lone scenario. You find yourself, remember, people don't understand where you're headed, and they believe you're crazy. Your talks, the things you do, your vision, your focus becomes elusive to them. They don't understand what you're doing. And of course, when you start a business, your limited resources have been channeled to your vision. Therefore, you do not have time, you do not have the resources, you don't have the money or what they need for you to maintain the relationships that, to maintain these relationships anymore. Therefore, they begin to leave you and your vision alone. Sometimes you find yourself all by yourself with either maybe your computer or books or just your idea, searching for your way out. So these are the challenges that entrepreneurs, first generation entrepreneurs face. Now, how can you cope? How do you survive these challenges as a first generation entrepreneur? Remember, as a first generation entrepreneur, you usually do not have a cushion or fallback or a backup or whatever. You are on your own. You are on this long walk to freedom, to success, all by yourself, on your own. In fact, you are going on this uncharted distance without knowing where you're going. You are charting your own map as you go. So it's not something that you wake up one day and think that nobody's going to promise you that it's easy. It's not easy. It is rewarding if you are going through your area of expertise, area of passion, area of talent. Then is the satisfaction is already there, and that in itself, starting alone in itself, is your own success. And that is why when you see a first generation entrepreneur who is doing what he or she likes, you see the whole satisfaction all over them. They don't need to get to the destination for them to begin to feel that satisfaction. So it's always rewarding to focus on your vision. Now, I have 10 ways, that that FGEs can win this battle. And here are some of them. One, if you're somebody, read a lot. If you're somebody who reads, if you read a lot, that is how you'll be able to find the voice that you need. In fact, one of my quotes in my book Tuning is, it says, the wisdom you're looking for is in the page that you never opened. Therefore, I tell every entrepreneur, especially first generation entrepreneurs, FGEs, make sure that no book crosses your face without you opening it. Make sure you open as many pages as possible. That inspiration you're looking for, that idea you're looking for, that advice you're looking for is in those pages that you never opened. No matter, regardless of how stupid a title or a book might look, or how much you feel that you know better than the author, is still better, is still good, because there is something somebody knows that you do not know. There's an information a person knows that you do not know. So therefore, as an entrepreneur, as a first generation entrepreneur who has limited resources, it is to your own benefit to read as much as you can. As much as you can lay your hands on any book, please do open it and read it. Now, the second one is set a goal. Set a goal, both short-term and long-term goal. And any little success, any little win that you get along your way is your time to celebrate. Don't wait until you get to the end. Begin now to celebrate any little baby step that you take, any little win, any little achievement, any little goal. Usually give yourself goals every single day, and as you accomplish those goals, celebrate your baby steps. My baby is 8 months now, and I watch him every day. He stands up, he falls, he falls down, he tries to crawl, he started crawling. I could remember when before he started crawling, the very first day he made a move, he was like, he couldn't even move. He was doing like this, stay in one place, and until he was able to move one of the legs, and now he's all over the place. He's running now with his crawling, and now he's attempting to stand and walk. You see him several many times. He bang his head on the floor. He falls down. You console him. The next minute, as he finishes crying, he's back on it. So, as an entrepreneur, you must have a picture of a baby around you. Because when you slipped on a goal doesn't mean the end of the world. That it didn't quite work out as you planned it this time does not mean you cannot get it right the next time. That is business. Look at the baby steps. Look at how they start. That tiny little baby, that is how, no matter how tiny you started, watch your seed grow. Watch the mustard seed. Look at how tiny it is. It goes, you put it in the sand, you keep on, sometimes you don't even water it. You see it after time, it comes up. And there's something I always tell people. In my place, there's a tree, Iroko tree. I think everybody, most people might know what Iroko tree is. Usually you don't see Iroko trees in a place. There's always only one, and he's the king of the forest. You see they are majestically standing there, and he does not choose where it's going to be. Nobody can say they planted it. It comes. And that is how talent, inspiration decides. You cannot decide what inspiration you're going to have. You're not going to decide what talent you're going to have. This talent, they plant themselves in you, and they occupy the space. The same way, when you start a business, for you to, you don't need to find two people like you. You don't need to do the same thing everybody's doing. You need to chart your own course. That is what a first generation entrepreneur is. They go and bring out that thing that makes them unique, that thing that makes them to become the king of their own jungle or their forest. So you have to be like an Iroko tree, as celebrate every little win, and make sure that all your short-term goals are going towards your long-term goal. Then connect with positive, proactive people who like-minded people, and this is where networking comes in. I tell people all the time, we all invest in social media, invest in advertising, promotion. There is no promotion better than connecting with the right people. And you can only find the right people when you attend events that has relevance to you. For example, when you go for conferences, when you go for industry events where you're going to meet the people who have the same mindset, who are in the same industry, where you can discuss the challenges and the wins that you're having, where you find inspiration, where you look at how others are doing it, and you'll be able to know how to tweak your own ideas. And that is where you get information of the current thing, how the industry is moving, especially in this era where it is so fast paced. Social media is not enough. So part of your marketing budget has to go to your networking, your networking, your ability to go to other people's events, people in your industry, try to attend their own conferences and events, listen to other people speak. That reminds me, that's one of the funniest things that I've seen recently, especially with social media, where every single person wants to be a speaker at an event. People make contact, and everybody wants to speak. you know it's good to speak. It's good to position yourself, become a speaker. But I tell you, there is more learning from listening than from speaking. You're only going to say what you know. When you listen, you learn what the other person knows. So learn to be humble enough to listen to other people speak. Learn from other people. In fact, I always prefer to listen to the newbies, people who are just starting. These are people I like to listen to. Because they are still burning with so much passion, with so much vision, so much hope, and so much optimism. So when you listen to them, you are going to gain a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation. So yeah, I don't believe in I've been in the industry for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. It doesn't make any sense. Because look at let's say, for example, mango or orange tree. When a mango fruit comes out, sprouts out, it begins to grow. It begins to grow with all passion. It begins to grow, and at the point it gets ripe. Once it's ripe, it has nothing else to offer you. If you don't pluck it at that time, it falls off from the tree, and it becomes a waste. In fact, it becomes nuisance. You see flies and things coming to eat it, so it's obsolete. You don't need it anymore. So the most important fruit is the one that is still sprouting, the one that is still coming out, the one that hasn't even matured enough, the one that is not ripened yet. That's the most important one. That's the one you focus on and you can protect. The one that's already ripe, there's nothing else you can do to it. You can't preserve it. It's already, it's just ready for people to eat it. And once it's eaten, it's gone. And if you don't eat it, it gets spoiled. So that is why I tell people, pay attention to starters. Pay attention to beginners. They have a lot of information. They have a lot of passion. They have a lot of optimism. And they have a lot to inspire you. Wait. So, and the next one is, in the words of Anthony Joshua, he says, stay hungry, stay humble, and stay hungry. So, as an entrepreneur, especially first generation entrepreneur, who your parents, your relatives, nobody has left any inheritance for you or any footprints for you to walk in. You are the one charting your own course. It's that you must have the hunger to succeed. You must have the hunger to get to where you want to get to. And in that hunger, you must package it with humility. Be able to learn, be teachable, be able to listen. And mind you, when I say listen, I don't mean take every advice. No, I'm saying listen. Knowledge comes from listening. So when you listen, you should be able to sieve the words that you hear. You'll be able to see which one you need and which one to discard or to store. Because you might get a knowledge today, you don't really need it now. But if you put it in your storage, the time will come when you go back into your storage and get it out and dust it off, and it becomes, it comes to use. So that is that. I've talked about networking. I've talked about passion and belief. You must believe in yourself before others will believe in you. So it's very important that you believe in your own ideas. You believe in your vision, and and that belief you have in what you can do, you have to put it into action and keep on going. Like I said, every little short-term and short-term goals and wins and success that you achieve along the way, you do your best to celebrate them and keep yourself, you know, keep yourself what's it called, keep yourself inspired and motivated, and keep yourself going. That is your fuel that you need to keep moving. And now the issue of startup capital, if you listen to my last week episode, you will realize that we talked about collaboration a lot. Collaboration is an opportunity for you to gain what you cannot afford in exchange for what you can give. So as a startup who is, you have limited funding, but you have a skill that you can offer, then that is your opportunity to offer your skill in exchange for what you need, whether it's exposure you need, whether it's to build a portfolio you need, whether it's for testimonials you need, whether it's for experience even that you need. So whatever it is, or even for the especially exposure, you can partner with people, you can collaborate, you can, sometimes people say they are doing free work, and I look at them, how is it free? Because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know the value of what you're doing. So there's my brother, my elder brother used to tell me, in fact, the very first thing he taught me when I came to Lagos was, there is no free lunch. So, but because people think payment is all about money, no, it's not all about cash. There are payments in kind, there are payments in goodwill. There are payments of sponsorship. Sponsorship is not only money. There are people that are in your course of business, there are people that you offer services without charging them money, but the benefit of it is, triples over time. Endorsement of your brand, their words, their word of mouth can put you in a position where, in fact, and also, like, for example, let's say an artist performing at an event, you have a whole lot of opportunity to get discovered. So it all depends on you, how you want to chart your own course, so that you cannot say money has stopped you, because you can start, because you have the talent and you have the skill and passion for what you do. So the important thing is that you have started and you are gradually building your own bridges as you go. So that is it from me today. Have I missed out anything? I don't think so. If you have any questions, as usual, make sure you leave a comment for me, or you send me an email at editor@fonte.co.uk, or visit my website fontebond.com to come up here, or on social media, either Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Just search for @Fonte. It will come up on the screen, and you'll be able to get the spelling and reach out to me. And of course, on 27th of July, we are going to have Women into Leadership Conference. Now, Women into Leadership Conference is just the title of this. It's open to men and women. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're in a leadership position, of course, everybody's a leader. It's only for you to discover where your leadership lies. So you are all welcome to the conference. Go to divasofcolor.com or visit Eventbrite and search for Women into Leadership Conference and get your ticket. Is only I think it's £50 or something, or while the while the early bird is still on, I think you can get it for half price until as long as it lasts. So make sure that you attend that conference. We have 7 outstanding speakers coming to deliver on different areas, from finance, from emotional intelligence, from different angles that people are going to be talking, both how to be highly effective. You get people, entrepreneurs who started from scratch, from nowhere, and they are where they are today, leading in their industry. So it is a must attend event, July 27th, 2019. Make sure you are there, Women into Leadership Conference. Follow me on social media and you'll be getting a lot of updates. And of course, I'm always here and ready to answer your questions. If you want to join my mentoring section, you go to my website and sign on, and we'll take it up from there. So as always, thank